What are the signs and symptoms of bipolar disorder that stand out most? It's important to know this stuff because 40% of people with bipolar end up getting misdiagnosed with something else, like ADHD, depression, or anxiety disorders. Knowing the signs of bipolar can help us identify possible symptoms and make it easier to describe them to a medical professional. Let's jump right into 10 signs of bipolar disorder mania, and then we'll explore 10 signs of depression. Bipolar is cyclic, meaning if you find yourself cycling up and down between the following symptoms, there's a good chance you might have bipolar disorder. In fact, let me know in the comments how many of these signs you experience, because I experience all of them. First and foremost is sleep. I can almost predict if I'm getting symptomatic by paying close attention to my sleep. I always sleep much less when I'm manic or hypomanic. If I'm elevated, I might stay up all night obsessing over a project with zero desire to sleep. This can last for days or in some cases weeks at a time. I've had many people assume I was high on drugs when in all reality, I was high on my illness. Number 2 is higher sex drive, or what we call hypersexuality. Over 60% of people with bipolar disorder experience this symptom during mania or hypomanic episodes. Compulsive, risky, or even dangerous sexual encounters are common while hypersexual. Remember, I said bipolar is cyclic. Sometimes I'm very sexual, while other times I might avoid sexual situations altogether. The third sign of bipolar disorder mania is anger, irritability, or rage. Another word for it is dysphoric mania. Normal anger usually has a cause and is proportionate to the situation. Bipolar anger feels blown out of proportion and may have no identifiable cause. Sometimes the littlest things that normally wouldn't bother me at all become huge triggers for a total meltdown. Number 4 is racing thoughts or a flight of ideas. I get this rapid, uncontrollable flow of thoughts that happens so quickly it's hard to follow or control them. It's like my mind has no off switch, especially when I'm trying to fall asleep. When I talk to others, I might speak or switch topics so quickly that they have a hard time following what I'm saying. Pressured speech is also a good indicator that my mind is moving faster than my mouth. The 5th sign is distractibility, or becoming easily distracted. Wait a minute, what was I just talking about? Oh yeah, distractibility. I have a really hard time staying on task or following detailed instructions when I'm manic. I might go from one project to the next, forgetting tiny details and not finishing any of them. Number 6 is overconfidence or grandiosity. I might believe I'm fully capable of accomplishing things that are simply not possible, like saving the world or becoming a famous influencer. I might feel more talented, more powerful, and more capable than anyone else. It's incredible how intoxicating and how real these feelings are. Confidence is great. Overconfidence can be troublesome. Number 7 is manic spending sprees. Purchases are usually impulsive, risky, or even grandiose. I remember buying a music recording studio because I was going to be the next big thing. Not for a moment did I consider the financial consequences. I was chasing the euphoric dopamine hits I was getting from each new toy I bought. The 8th sign of bipolar mania is an increase in substance use. This can include binge drinking, abusing pills, or experimenting with drugs in ways we normally wouldn't. Part of mania involves disinhibition. Just like alcohol lowers inhibitions and leads to bad decisions, so does mania. Number 9 is an increase in energy and activity across the board. More hobbies, more work, more socializing, more sexual, and more optimistic about life. Number 10 is a nasty one, denial, or a lack of insight. Part of the illness is literally not being able to tell when we are symptomatic. I often dismiss feedback from others when they point out signs of trouble. My mind can do these mental gymnastics to convince myself that there isn't a problem. I might rationalize my behavior in ways that don't make sense to my loved ones. Now that we have a clearer picture of what mania looks like, let's explore the polar opposite, bipolar depression. Like with mania, my depression comes in cycles. Sometimes it happens for no reason, but usually it's tied to the fallout from a manic or hypomanic episode. The higher I go up, the farther I tend to fall back down. The first telltale sign of depression is losing interest in almost all activities. It's like my spark is gone and I don't get pleasure from my hobbies, my work, or even my relationship. Depression sucks the passion out of my life. It's like emotional Novocaine where I feel numb and void of joy. The second sign is feeling deeply sad or sorry for no apparent reason. It's normal to be sad when someone passes away or we get some disturbing news. Bipolar depression makes me feel like this kind of deep sadness without a specific trigger. It's super confusing. People ask me what's wrong and I have no idea. It makes it easy to blame my feelings on things that have nothing to do with the illness. The third sign is extreme fatigue or even physical pain. I might sleep for 12 hours a day and still feel exhausted. It can be so bad that taking a shower is literally physically painful. I know that's hard for some people to understand, but the smallest task can feel so overwhelming when depressed. Number 4 is a relationship killer. This would be isolating from everyone. I go through social withdrawal when I'm depressed. I don't call people. I cancel important plans. I don't post much on social media. It's left a lot of my friends feeling ghosted, wondering what they did wrong. Sometimes I'm so consumed by the pain of being depressed that I have little room for anyone else. It's like smashing my toe with a hammer and then trying to socialize when all I can think about is the pain. Number 5 is significant changes in weight or appetite. When I'm depressed, I crave comfort foods. It's a coping mechanism that I'm still working on. If the depression gets really nasty, my system shuts down and I don't eat much at all. Number 6 is neglecting personal hygiene. I already mentioned how it can be physically painful to shower when depressed. Same with shaving or dealing with my hair. If I lack the motivation or energy to take care of the basics, it could be signs of symptoms. The 7th sign of depression is sleep disturbances. I almost always stay in bed more when I'm depressed. This doesn't mean I'm sleeping like a baby. I might be lying in bed for hours, worrying, or desperately trying to fall back asleep. I might sleep too much or too little when I'm depressed. It just depends on where my head is at. The 8th sign is cognitive challenges. I have trouble concentrating, trouble making decisions, memory issues, my thinking slows down, and I have a much harder time completing tasks when I'm depressed. It's such a frustrating contrast compared to how quickly I process information when I'm manic. Number 9 is body aches or physical pains, often without a clear cause. When I'm depressed, I'm more sensitive to pain. The emotional distress I go through manifests in physical ways like headaches, back pain, muscle aches, and general inflammation. It's a vicious cycle because the pain makes me depressed and the depression exacerbates the pain. The last sign I'm going to share is about as serious as it gets. This would be experiencing frequent thoughts about death or suicide. 1 in 5 people with bipolar do not survive this illness. It can happen so quickly too. I've gone from being okay to being a danger to myself within days or even hours. If your brain is sending these overwhelming messages that you should self-destruct, please reach out to your care team. You're so worth it. A few important closing notes. The signs of bipolar disorder I just shared are personal examples and not a complete list. It does not definitively mean you have bipolar if you experience these symptoms. Diagnosing bipolar disorder requires a comprehensive approach and can sometimes take a while. There's no single test that can determine if someone has it. Medical professionals use a combination of interviews, assessments, diagnostic criteria, physical and neurological exams, family history, and more to determine if it's bipolar disorder or something else. A huge shortcut to a proper diagnosis is data. You can help point your doctors in the right direction by making a list of symptoms you experienced from this video. If you found the video helpful, giving it a like or subscribing is like a giant digital thank you. If you want to contact me directly right now by phone or direct message, there's a link in the video description. I'd love to hear from you. Take extra good care of yourselves, and I'll be back here soon with more Polar Warrior videos. Stay well.